Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. I've been a fan of the Paper Mario series since the very first one, as I like the lighthearted way they tell stories in the worlds that they create. It seems like it's been going downhill over the years, with this need to have gimmicks or simplistic characters. I did like the Origami King. I thought the places that we went to were interesting, but the characters were too basic for the most part, with the exception of that Babam storyline. I really disliked the puzzle battles, and if they had ditched it and just put in turn-based system like in 64 or Thousand Year Door, I think it could have been much better received. I personally think this one is the best Paper Mario game, so this shouldn't shock anyone out there, but I think you should buy this. Let's just get that out of the way. I would say Super Paper Mario was the second best, with 64 being third, and then Origami King and the Color Splash being next. I never played the DS games, but I hear they're not great. The story behind this one is that Mario gets a letter from Princess Peach, who wants him to come to a town called Rogueport to find a hidden treasure. The letter was read to him by Luigi, which was odd, and it's not the last time someone would read him a letter. So much so it got me thinking, can Mario read? If this game is any evidence, I would say no. Even when he pulls out his DS, I think the thing is reading it to him. And when they give him a contract to sign, he doesn't read it, he just signs it. Who does that? You have to look at all the terms and conditions. When you get to the town, you find out another team is looking for the treasure, and Princess Peach is missing. Big shocker there. She gets captured every other week. I do wonder why she's even in this town. I think they said she was here for refueling, but where were they going? Her security is terrible. They need to stay on her 24/7 with the amount of time she gets kidnapped. The town of Rogueport was fun to explore. Depending on the powers that you acquire, the town's secrets open up, and the places that you might not expect that you could get to hide some really good secrets. Now this is a turn-based battle system, so that means that each side will get a turn at attacking until the main characters or the enemies are dead. You do this in a theater with other people watching. They will give Mario power based on how well you're doing, so you want to give them a good show. As you level up, the theater will expand and more people will watch, and you'll get more power from your special attacks. They give you the option to time attacks to hit the button when you hit the enemy for extra damage, or you can also do this in defense to lower your damage. There's a much harder defense called Super Guard, where you have to time it even closer, and if you hit it, not only do you get less damage, but you also hit the enemy that's attacking you. I do think this was a very engaging system. The story is broken down into chapters, and each of the chapters were unique and fun to play. And the only time it gets a little annoying is when you have to do some backtracking. But luckily they do cut down the amount of backtracking you have to do in the remake, which was great. But even still, in one chapter you're going from one side to the other side. It was ridiculous. You're gonna get new people joining up in most of the chapters, and it starts to feel like it's the cult of Mario. It was very weird how they all just decided to join up on this long adventure with not a lot of thought behind it. It's the same problem I have with Persona 3, 4, and 5. You'll save someone, and then it will just cling on to you. In Persona 5, there was a very obnoxious person who started to act like they were there the whole time, and they should have full say on what's going on. I remember playing that and just saying, hey, newbie, you know you've been part of this group for like 10 minutes. I know those evil grown-ups are really bad, but how about letting people who have the experience with this decide what to do and just draw me a picture? I like the characters who joined up with you, which I'm not going to spoil, past the first two chapters. They have their own characteristics and powers which will help you in battle and sometimes give you extra abilities in the world. The story is broken down into chapters, and there were some outstanding chapters, but there were some that were just okay. I don't think there were any dud chapters, but the first chapter was the worst of the bunch, but even that wasn't bad. They added new visuals and a soundtrack, and overall I think everything was more animated and expressive, which was great. There's an unlockable where you can see the art of Paper Mario and see the first designs of the characters. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door was fantastic. Each of the chapters were different enough that you're never going to know where this story's going to go. Everything about this is top notch, and it's an easy recommendation. There are quite a few side quests to do after you beat the game, or even before you beat the game. There's even a pit of enemies for you to conquer, so there's plenty to do even after the credits roll. If you've enjoyed previous Paper Mario games, you're going to love this, and I think you should buy it now.